How to add screenshot testing with Cypress to your project. Developers are usually concerned with the quality of the code. There are different kinds of tests that help us avoid breaking code when a new feature is added in a project. But what can we do to ensure that components don't look different over time? In this post, you will learn how to use Cypress to capture parts of pages of a website. After that, you will integrate the testing tool in C to ensure that in the future no one will make unwanted changes to your project. My motivation for creating this testing strategy came from work. At Thinkific we have an internal design system and we added Cypress to avoid surprises when working in CSS/JS files. I created a sample website to mimic a component library. It is a very simple website created with Tailwind CSS and hosted in Vercel. It documents two components, badge and button. You can check out the source code in GitHub. The website is static and it is inside the public folder. You can see the website locally by running npm run serve and checking in the browser. Start by cloning the example repository. Next, create a new branch and install Cypress Image Snapshot, the package responsible for capturing, comparing screenshots. Cypress will take a screenshot of each example in the page. The badge page has two examples, default and pill, while the button page has three examples, default, pill and outline. All these examples are inside a less than div greater than element with a Cypress wrapper. This class was added with the only intention being to identify what needs to be tested. The base L is the website running locally. As I mentioned before, npm run serve will serve the content of the public folder. The second option, video, disables Cypress video recording, which we won't use in this project. In the code above, I am dynamically creating tests based in the roots array. The test will create one image per Cypress wrapper element that the page has. From here, there are two options: run Cypress in headless mode with npm run Cypress run, or use the Cypress test runner with npm run Cypress open. Using npm run Cypress open, Cypress test runner will be opened and you can follow the test step by step. Our first milestone is done. So let's merge this branch to master. If you want to see the work done so far, jump in my pull request. If you run the test above alternating between headless and test runner, you may notice that the screenshot will vary. Using the test runner with a Retina display computer, you may get Retina images 2x, while the headless mode doesn't give you high quality screenshots. If the content captured in the screenshot doesn't fit a component, you may or may not have a scroll bar. If your project relies on OS default fonts, screenshots will also be different according to the environment. In order to avoid these inconsistencies, tests will run inside Docker so the developer's computer won't affect the screenshot captures. Cypress offers different Docker images. You can check out the details in their documentation and the blog. For this example, I will use the Cypress included image, which includes Electron and is ready to be used. Test Docker run it cypress update snapshots IPC equals host vpwd skeptical smiley face e2 Cypress included 4.11.0. As I mentioned earlier, typography inconsistencies. The button component uses the OS default font. Since Docker is running inside Linux, the rendered font won't be the same that I have installed on macOS. Please notice that I am prefixing the test command with the environment variable Cypress update snapshots. Our next step is adding the tests in C. There are different C solutions in the market, but for this tutorial, I will use Semaphore. I am not affiliated with them and I use the product at work, so it was for me a natural choice. The configuration is straightforward and it can be adapted to other solutions like Circleci or GitHub Actions. The first step is installing Start Server and Test. As the package name says, it will start a server, wait for the URL, and then run a test command. Test Docker run it cypress basel cypress update snapshots IPC equals host vpwd skeptical smiley face e2 Cypress included 4.11.0. In the test script, we are adding the Cypress basel environment variable. This will allow us to change the base URL used by Cypress dynamically. Also, We are adding the test C script, which will run the package we just installed. 27 export Cypress base cell equals URL : // grep e default docker 0 grep o plus 3 plus tail -1 8000. Lines 8 and 16 create two blocks. The first block, build dependencies, will run npm install, downloading the dependencies we need. The second block, tests, will run Cypress, with a few differences. In line 27, we are dynamically setting the Cypress base cell environment variable based on the IP Docker is using at the moment. This will replace URL : / host.docker.internal port 8000/, which may not work in all environments. In line 28, we finally run the test using start server and test once the server is ready for connections. Cypress will run the test suite. Another milestone is done. Time to merge our branch. You can check out the pull request that contains all the files from this section and check the build inside semaphore. Reading the output of tests in C is not very friendly. In this step, we will integrate our project with cypress.io. Earlier I mentioned that we would be using Cypress inside Docker, but here we are opening Cypress locally since this is the only way to integrate with the website dashboard. Inside Cypress, let's go to the Runs tab. Click in Setup Project to record, and choose a name and visibility. We will get a projected that is automatically added in the Cypress JSON file and a private record key. Here is a video of the steps. In semaphore, I added the record key as an environment variable called Cypress record key. Next, let's update our test script to use the variable test C start server and test serve 8000 npm run test run record key Cypress record key. That is pretty much all that needs to be done. In the pull request we can see the cypress.io integration in the comments. There is even a deep link that takes us to the dashboard and shows all the screenshots. Check out the video below. Imagine we are working on a change that affects the padding of the buttons. Time to test if Cypress will capture the difference. In the example website, let's double the horizontal padding from 16px to 32px. This change is quite simple since we are using Tailwind CSS. px4 gets replaced by px8. Here is that pull request. As we might expect, Cypress captured that the button doesn't match the screenshots. Visiting the page, we can check the screenshot of the broken test. The diff file shows the original screenshot on the left, the current result on the right, and they are combined in the middle. We also have the option to download the image so we can see the issue better. That's it for today. I hope you have learned how Cypress can be useful to ensure no one is adding unexpected changes to a project. Learn to code for free. FreeCodeCamp's open source curriculum has helped more than 40,000 people get jobs as text source. freecodecamp.org